Hi, friends. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to my podcast, One in a Billion. This is a podcast for human transformation. Uh, I've been bringing in some inspiring guests to this show, and today I am honored to have TN Kharrthikheyan with us. He is a career coach, leadership coach, mind mastery coach, well being coach, team coach, author, speaker, leader at ICF Global Career Coaching Community of Practice. He's also a Neuroscience Certified Coach. He helps leaders, managers, and professionals make career choices and transition to a new career, achieve career excellence, and he also helps people in leading a life with purpose and meaning. He's tied up with organizations like BetterUp, where he is a premier fellow coach. He is the founder of TNK Empowers Incorporated. Kharrthikheyan has almost 12 years of experience working for various companies from Infosys to SBI to L&T to Vatek Wabag Limited. He is a BTech chemical engineering graduate from Anna University, and he has also done his MBA from Loyola Institute of Business Administration, Chennai. Karthik hails from South Indian state, Tamil Nadu. Karthik, it's an absolute honor and privilege to have you on this show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Satish. Thank you.
Right. Let's start with one interesting quote from Simon Sinek. I'm a big fan of Simon, and I've read books of his, Start With Why and Lead Us Eat Last. And this is a quote from Start With Why. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. So, Karthik, why start TNK Empowers and why chose coaching as a profession?
Okay. Yeah, I really like the quote. I mean, Simon Sinek is one of my favorites too. To answer your question, Satish, I would need to take you back to my journey in terms of how my career spanned. And so I'll start off by saying I'm an engineer who found my passion in people development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as you said in the introduction, I'm a chemical engineer. And by the time I completed my engineering, I think the MBA fever got to me. Also, I thought that's something which want to do. And I was pursuing my MBA, but then my family situation forced me to take up a job. So that point of time, IT was something which is really, the real hot career, and you have more opportunities too. So it was easier for me to get a job. So I also had a certain IT skills to my profile. So that helped me get my job. So then I started my career with Infosys as a software engineer. So I think here is where I think I feel really blessed, because just 1 year into my career, I got an opportunity to mentor, say, less experienced team members in my team. And that was very unique for me, because before that, I've shared my knowledge, but I've never done such kinds of sustained learning, sharing, and mentoring people. Now, what I realized is I was enjoying developing people more than developing software. So that was a very, I would say, inflection point in my life, because this MBA fever, now it got a little more clarity, saying, okay, this is something, developing people is something which I can really do a lot more in my life. I can look at it as a more sustained career, right? So, so from then on, I pursued my MBA ambition, but I specialized in HR because I really want to build my career around people. And then on, as you said, my roles in SBI, L&T, Vatek Wabag, everything was around developing people, say helping people navigate change, or say helping organizations say drive change and those kind of things. So that's been my overall journey. And again, fortunately, I was able to I got opportunities to coach people as part of my roles, and that helped me realize that was some that was a part of my role which I enjoyed more than other parts of my role, right? So program management, team management, all those was fine, but I enjoyed it. But again, the unfortunate part was I really I spent less time on that because of my other responsibilities. And that's when life presented an opportunity. So I was in Netherlands because my wife got an opportunity to work there, and it was a more longer term option. So coaching was my interest. I want to do something about it. And here was a space in my life where I wasn't doing a full-time job, right? I was looking for a job rather in Netherlands. But then the Dutch fluency was something which I didn't have, which was an implicit requirement, which I realized only later. So having gone through a very challenging phase, I thought, why wait for, a few more years to start on my own? Why not now? So that was when I also had my coach certification completed by then. So then I then moved into coaching with a clear picture that I want to do this full time, right? So again, me splitting my energy into searching a job, also trying to pursue coaching didn't really work out. So then I decided that I'm going to give my full energy into here and then pursue coaching. And as I told you, I was enjoying coaching more, right? So this is something which helped me do what I love a little more and more in my life. Even though initially it was a real struggle phase, but then it helped me see that I was able to contribute to people. Travel along with them in their lives and then help them succeed in whatever they would like to succeed. So that was giving me a lot more, say, fulfillment in my life, and that was something which I really valued. And that's the reason why they continued coaching, and also that's the reason why TNK Empowers as an organization was born.
Wow, what an amazing story, listeners. Yeah, hats off to you for taking that courageous step in your career, because people really fear quitting job and doing something on their own. And you've done that early enough, and here you are impacting people's lives, helping top management, executive directors, VPs, and general managers, and making their life better. Karthik, I know you're from Tamil Nadu. We've exchanged some messages, but I don't know too much about you. How was it like growing up in South India for you?
So all my life, until I would say I completed engineering, I've spent in Tamil Nadu. So it was, it is, I really enjoy, being here. In fact, the culture here also I really like. And so in fact, since I'm in Chennai, and I would like to say I enjoy being with nature in a way, be it the beaches or be it a walk here. All those are something which I enjoy. So overall, I really find it's to be a little more, the culture here is more warm, and even my growing up days was so. So that's something. And when I stepped out from here, Tamil Nadu, for my job, for my career, to other states, that was a good learning for me to really get. Even within India, there are so many, say, diverse cultures, right? So in that way, that was a great learning for me. So my stint in SBA was in Mumbai, then in Hyderabad. So in two different states, languages, again, different, and also the culture part. So all these were very wonderful learnings for me it helped me also grow as a person, helped me understand how people in different states see life and their own perceptions, right? So that's how I really see. Every culture had its uniqueness. South India, maybe if you say even the place where I'm from has its uniqueness, and very similarly the same is it with Mumbai or with any other city like Hyderabad.
Any particular incidents that you want to share to our listeners or viewers?
Yeah. So is from my growing up days, is it?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say one of the stories which I significantly remember and also made a lot more impact in my life is in my early childhood days, I had this challenge of stammering. Yeah. So, of course, I really wanted to cover that up. And then I want to maybe give a better picture outside. So I tried my best, but beyond a point, I was more anxious about how people perceive me. Now I can talk about it, but as a child at that age, I wasn't really aware of all those. And so, of the many things that really helped me here, I just want to maybe I'm really grateful that there was one of the person who's really made a great impact on that specific thing was my Tamil teacher. Yeah. So his name is Rangarajan, but I'm really grateful to him because there were many places where I wanted to speak, but then because of my prior experience of having people seen, but maybe there are some perceptions people build around you, and as a result, your confidence also takes a hit. Yeah, so I was going through such a phase, and here was one person who believed in me at that particular stage in life, and I really wanted to present my thoughts in a forum, and that was a real turning point for me because it helped me believe in myself, and that's why I say I'm really grateful for him. That was again a big turning point in my life. So while it may not be about specifically about South India or the culture here, but this is a real memorable story of my life of growing up days. Even today, it really has a lot more impact. And maybe whatever I do in my profession is very a small way of giving back for all those people. Like the Tamil teacher is only one of them, I said, but there are so many other people who have contributed to my life. So maybe a small way of giving back.
All right. We thanks for sharing that, Karthik. We all have such teachers in our life who made a significant difference. Um, if you ask if you remember any particular teacher's name, and there is this only one person that you remember for your whole life, we all want to be that person who want to be remembered, and that's how we try to live our lives. So, Karthik, let's shift a little bit to what is happening in various companies and organizations, particularly in this part of the country, this part of the world. Um, when we talk about leadership and we talk about management, and I'm seeing leaders who are managers who, cut corners to achieve their short-term goals rather than thinking long-term. And in the process, they're putting their people into extreme hardship, stress, burnouts, and people don't feel supported enough. That's why employees who go to any job, they feel that they have this constant grade of stress, constant grade of fear. As a result, the health condition is worsening, and this is not the ideal world that we want to leave to our younger generation. So, in your LinkedIn articles, you talk about transformational leadership. So, what exactly do you mean by transformational leadership, and what is exactly happening in the present scenario, and what we need to cover or what we need to do as leaders and coaches to help improve the well-being of all human beings?
Yeah. So there are many questions to what you asked. I'll try to answer one by one. In case I miss something, please do prompt me. Yeah. So first about leadership, right? So one of the things which I've learned about leadership is I would say it has three distinct components. One is about having a clear goal, right? And then the other is about achievement of the goal, how to achieve that goal, having that clear, say, direction to achieve that goal. Yeah. And the third component is about, others, the other people. And if it's only me, there's no leadership, right? So it's going to be about others. So goal, how to achieve the achievement part, and others, the people, or three distinct components of leadership. And when we say transformation, I would go back to Simon Sinek, what you said about the why. Yeah. So transformation is about a change, right? So it's about Yeah. So now the why of the change, and in this case, as I said, the first component, goal. The why of the goal becomes very important as a leader. So
Mm,
one, it also shows has an the why of my own inner motivations, and the why of, if you look at a team, as you said, leading people, employees, organization, the why at every stage becomes very important. So
mm,
as long as we're able to communicate that why, one, if it's going to be about me, I'm aware of myself. What's my purpose as a leader? How do I see it? And very similarly, when it's about a team, when I communicate a goal, this is what we would like to achieve. So what's again, the underlying factor is about why. Why is that we are pursuing this goal? What's the kind of
mm,
impact we are creating? So those are things which are more fundamental. And that's why I say transformation leadership is about all these four.
mm,
And if you really want to, I mean, transformation is also about scale, right? It could be one at an individual level, a change, but when you're talking about organization, it's also about scale. So
mm,
to achieve that scale, while the why, as I said, the goal and maybe the achievement and about people, the people element becomes more critical.
right.
Now, I as I mean, a leader alone, I would, maybe I can drive people to some extent. But then when the ownership, or maybe when people start taking up initiative by themselves and start contributing to change in better ways than what I could think as a leader, and that's when the
Mm,
scale happens at a much accelerated rate. So for me, transformational leadership is about this. As a leader, if you can create a system where people
mm,
start taking initiative to achieve the larger goal, which is much beyond maybe a single person or just an organization seeing a larger impact in the society. I think that's real at the essence of transformational leadership for me.
okay. So, where do you see the gap in the present work environment? Where do we need to work on more?
Yeah, so I think it's more about we are all operating in a system, right? So
Yeah.
we could talk about work, but if you look at today, there are so many things that require attention. One, it could be our own personal ambitions, personal things that you want to do. I have to have something at the organization, and beyond that, I mean, attention is something which is really a resource which is much in demand today. And if you look at
Mhm.
anything that we want to achieve in life, it's going to be, unless we have attention towards that, we're not going to achieve that, or it's going to be difficult to achieve, or it's going to take more time. So the gap here is this: there is when you talked about leaders cutting corners, right? So it's again, there is something about our motivation and attention which is taking us away from uh, doing the
Mm,
right things, right?
right.
So again, it's nothing about judging somebody, but it's all about uh, the the greed to achieve more, could be,
Mm,
right, or the fear of, I mean, failing. All those, the motivation that we have within us, that drives decisions. Maybe you might say decisions that are not seen as right today, right?
mm,
It's more ethical. We talk about ethical leadership. We talk about many other words that we add to leadership, but primarily, if you all come back to who, it comes back to your attention and motivation. So
mm,
if you look at the gap, that's where it is. There are so many things that consume my attention, and if I'm really, I'll come back to the transformation part of the why. If I'm really clear
mm,
my purpose as a leader, and if I base my decisions on that why, right, and the, I
mm,
mean, core values that drive me as a leader, then even if there is a very ethical dilemma that comes in, I would be able to say, stand my decision,
mm,
even if it's going to be like, it's going to be a challenge for me. Like, even if I had to say, no, I think we failed here, but then this is for this reason, but we're going to make up. So it's about standing our ground and really standing up for the real purpose that one stands as a leader, or one really believes as a leader. I think that's now the gap is that clearly identified by every person. It need not be an organizational leader, right? It could be every person in their life. If I want to
mm,
be a leader in my life and help people around me, it needs to be very clear for me also. Whatever I said as a why, my own inner motivation, the purpose, if I'm really clear about that, my decisions will be more say, I would be able to take decisions much stronger without any bias, and then without any distractions, without any, say, temptations, and then I'll move
Right.
forward in my life, and also helping others and contributing others in the process. So I think that's where the gap is. So if you really have to do something about it, or maybe as you asked about well-being of employees, this also impacts the well-being, right? Because there are so many things which you want to achieve more at the same time. You really are short of how to direct your attention. Maybe
Right.
that's something which is really where they need help. And as organizations, they could be organizations are taking initiative to help well-being of employees. But in fact, it's also connected. There are enough research today which talks about how well-being is connected to productivity, performance, and in fact, at every level, be it the individual or be it the organization, that's your well-being is nothing but you really are you have the attention in your life to take decisions, conscious decisions, right? Clearly understanding what are the consequences of that. If you're in that space, I think that means you are in a real thriving state of well-being. So I mean, to us to help people get there, I'm sure coaching is one of the professions which is going to be of help.
Wow, great. Thanks for sharing that, Karthik. Talking about well-being, recently, former Infosys chairman Narayana Murthy came out and spoke publicly about younger generation in India have to work for 70 hours per week. And I recently, last night, in fact, I wrote an article on LinkedIn about the pressure of time the employees face at the organizations. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, so I read your article, Sanjay. It was really interesting to see that. So now, see, 70 hours a day, now leave out all those, right? So it's about a person's decision to live a life on their own terms, right? Live their life the way they want it. Now, so we believe there is a way that it works because it worked for me, so it could really work for others too, right? But now coming back to the individual, there is a way which every person wants to live their life. Now, as long as I can help them create that life, which means, and from your point of view, it's about they're going to be happy, they're going to be in a better state of mind, they're going to take better decisions in their life, and as a result, overall, they're going to lead a more, say, well-rounded, successful life, I could say. So, coming back to it, what's coming in the way of me living my life in my own terms, right? So that's the real question that we need to answer, rather than 70 hours or this or this. If this is the way I want to live my life, how do I move towards it? We could ask that question and help people move towards it, help them take steps towards achieving or realizing that life. I think that's that will actually fill the gap which we also talked about earlier.
Right. Yeah, majority of these folks, they need help. So how, as a coach, can help these folks?
So I think you are also a coach, so maybe you would also appreciate this. When we talk about coaching, what are we talking about? We are talking about a person who is really listening to say a client's challenge here, right? When fully interested in their well-being and success, right? And then again, be traveling with them in their line of thoughts and helping them in the process also see some different perspectives or find different solutions to their challenges. Now, all this requires a lot of attention, right? Now, why does a client come to me as a coach or you as a coach? They're going through a challenge. They are not able to see a clear path forward. They feel stuck.
Right.
So that's the space where they are. Their attention is, again, as I said, it's getting distracted, or maybe they're in an attention deficit zone. So you and I as a coach, what we do, we leverage our attention, maybe the cognitive attention part, to help them find solutions, right? So how do I help as a coach, or how do we help as a coach, is about just practicing our own profession in the truest possible, the highest standards, right? And help, and also growing ourselves as a coach to be even reflective of ourselves.
Right.
Now, this will help us present our best version to our client, and in the process, help them and serve them in the best possible way. So,
Wow.
I think if I have to look as a coach, I will work on improving myself, continuously improving myself. At the same time, really understand my needs of a client and help them, say, find a path or whatever is their challenge is to help them solve the goals. So ultimately, it all comes back to, in my view, attention. So I think I'll work on me leveraging my attention to support people.
Karthik, you also, in your website and in your LinkedIn posts, you mention about your mission of eradicating mind illiteracy. So, what do you mean by mind illiteracy, and what can people do?
Yeah, so this is something which you saw on my profile because I'm associated with a startup called Seeker, and they are in the space of mind literacy. Their vision is to spread mind literacy. So what I really mean by that is whatever we have been speaking about, attention, more motivations, the why part of it, all comes back to what is our own mind.
Right.
Now, you talked about leaders who cut corners, who and take decisions. Now, when we talked about it, we analyzed what they have, some motivations or some reasons behind it, right? They wanted to achieve more, they didn't want to paint a bad picture, whatever reasons it is. There are something. So, what are the? If you look at every decision in our life, it's really our mind plays a very significant role.
Right.
And if each of us can understand a little more about our mind in terms of how these decisions are made, right? So, I mean, I think there is a research even in the internet which really talks about. I mean, we as humans make every 3 seconds there is a decision that's really comes out of us. Now, frankly, if you have an assembly line and if you have a product which comes every 3 seconds, is it really possible to fix every product so that the quality is met? So rather we create a machine that delivers a superior quality product, right? So in a way, the machine that delivers these decisions today for us is our mind. So if you're able to understand our mind and create a system of decision making for ourselves, which will help us have better decisions in our life, obviously what are we doing is we are creating, as we said, we are helping ourselves live the life in our own terms. So for that, fundamentally, what I need to know, I need to really know what's happening there. And in coaching, what do? We help people raise awareness about what's happening within them. So again, it's all connected, and I see it. So as we raise awareness of people to really understand more about their mind, more about the real motivations behind the decisions that they take, and also whatever they want to change, right? They want to, whatever decisions they want, the change that they want to bring in, the transformation that they want to bring in, which will help them move towards the life that they want to live, help them towards it. Right. So that's in both my initiative with coaching. I also work with a startup with in-person coaching in Netherlands, and also with Seeker. In both this, the fundamental is to help people be aware of themselves, their own mind. Like that's where the mind literacy part comes in.
Thank you for sharing this. It's really deep because I get fascinated when somebody talks about mind, and as a lay person who is just just doing a regular job, and they don't know what is personal development, and there is this whole industry of mentoring, coaching, and training. How can one person can take this one little step towards this journey of personal development?
I think there are a number of ways. One, as a person, if I'm interested, I could at least take a moment every day to just reflect on my own day, right? That could be like maybe in coaching terms, maybe I'm coaching myself. But it's a moment of reflection I'm giving to myself. In the hurry of life, there are
Right.
many people, many clients who come and say, I've never done this. Taking a pause and just look back at my life. That pause and reflection moment is something, if every person can give to themselves, it really would, that itself would raise their awareness. And of
Right.
course, over and above, I mean, if somebody needs support, there are so many helping professions. Coaching is one of them. Of course, they can reach out to a coach or a mentor, whoever they feel. And if you have a loved one in the family whom you can talk to, well and good, you could even reach out to them and just talk your mind through. So there are so many ways that they could do. And so I think this is the most simplest way to do. And there are various forms of developing yourself. You could read
Right.
books, listen to, I mean, of course, what you're doing, your podcast, like listening to a podcast also, I mean, brings new learnings. So there are so many ways one could develop, one could develop themselves.
All right. Karthik, you're an author. You've written 2 books. One, Succeed with Strengths. The other, Rise and Resilience. So what's your experience writing these 2 books?
Yeah, it was really a great learning experience to say. These are all short ebooks. And as you kind of talked about the LinkedIn articles before. So I started writing because I liked writing. And again, one of my initial experiences in my life helped me at least realize that this is something which I can further pursue. So that's how I started writing in LinkedIn, sharing my experience, sharing my knowledge. And that's also what was the main motivation behind writing these 2 ebooks. A little more longer format of my own writing, but again, sharing my own experience of coaching. And so resilience has been a big thing for me, even my own personal life. I really believe resilience is something that's really helped me. And even today, we talk about the kind of challenges, if you even at a very macroscopic view, if you take the kind of challenges like the world is going through, resilience is going to be very important too. And even for organizations or individuals at either ways. So that's why that was a theme that I chose. And again, supported by some research and also my own coaching experience, I combined that. And second was Succeed with Strengths. Again, a very, I'd say, interesting experience of writing this, because for me, one of the big influences has been knowing about, say, my own strengths, like the Gallup Strengths Finder, right? So I happened to meet a strengths coach a few years back. That was when I didn't jump into coaching, but then that was a big influence to say what we call a strength psychology or positive psychology could really help people. So that one helped me definitely, and I use that a lot in my coaching too to help my clients. Apart from that, I also see it. I ran interventions in the organization wherever I worked. So that also had a huge impact on people, right? They were able to see themselves differently. The blockers that they held was able to also kind of those haze was able to dissolve, and they're able to take steps towards betterment, not only for themselves but also for people around them. So that was again a big motivator to write something around strength, because that's been a very significant part of my experience, also my coaching experience. And these are the 2 reasons why I thought I'll share this through 2 short ebooks.
Oh. What is your definition of success?
So to live a more happy, peaceful, and I would say a life where you feel, where there's an element of achievement, success, but the happiness, peace, achievement, success, you have that more sustained in your life. It's not like temporary, or I have up and a down. So if I'm able to live a more balanced life of success and say peace and happiness, that's what really for me is success.
Wow. So what do you say to these folks who are looking at buying a big house? They get there, they live in that success or happiness for momentary, and again they set another goal, bigger car, and once you hit one goal and there is another goal waiting for you. So people endlessly run towards chasing success and happiness. What do you say to these folks?
Yeah. So again, this is where our understanding our own mind comes in, right? So even from a neuroscience point of view, or from like the work I do with Seeker is more based on yoga and Vedanta psychology. Even from that point of view, it all comes down to one, I'm focusing on what I want to achieve, right? And that's if I do it in excess, if I do it, it's going to come back to me. As you said, it's never an endless loop. Today I want a house. Tomorrow I want to decorate my house. Third, I want to maybe do something. I want a bigger house, or it would keep going again as an endless loop. Now, rather, I take again, I shift my attention from what we call as destination goals, or to more of say a process goals, right? Like for example, when you say I want to lose 5 kgs, right? I'm really looking at something to achieve, but rather I would say I want to be physically fit. I want to be a healthy person. I'm really looking at more as creating a system in my life which help me, of course, achieve that weight loss goal also, but it will help me sustain that. So when you ask me success, I use the word sustained, right? That's what I really meant. Whatever it is, can you sustain it? And if that can happen, you would be able to say, again, live a more, say, whatever life I talked about, a peaceful life or so. But here, the process is more about really applying a framework of thinking, developing a framework of thinking in which there is a constant pursuit of excellence. There's a constant curiosity that you display, not only about yourself, but also about people around you and your environment, and also about, say, serving others without expectations. So this thing comes from our own Indian ancient wisdom of, right? So this is something which I learned as part of an immersive program with Seeker. And it's so, this framework is so powerful. I found I use it with my clients. I use it in my own life. I also, share this in as many forums as possible, because if you could bring this into a life, what happens? That endless loop of chasing something which has its own ups and downs. You move to a more I would say process oriented way of approaching our own goals. Right. So I want to live a life where I achieve financial independence, but how do I create a system to do it, achieve it? And for that, I need to set up my own thinking, like create ways to achieve that. Right. So if I can think towards it, I can achieve it. But that's a daily process, in the sense, a constant improvement process. It's not going to happen just like that. So very similarly, physically fit, staying healthy is a constant journey, right? So it's going to involve eating the right food, maybe a number of other things. So it's not one thing that you do and you kind of get it achieved. So the larger point, to summarize, what I want to say is, if we can shift from those what we may call as destination goals to a process goal, where we create a system in our life and we learn the system by experimenting and experiencing it for ourselves, and we create a system that works for us, right? And follow that, and be consistent in following that. That's a path that would really help us achieve more sustainable success in our life.
This is fascinating, Karthik. Thanks for sharing that. And people who are listening or viewing, if you want to know more about these concepts, about how you can create the mindset shift in your life, please connect with Karthik. Let me leave his contact info in the description or show notes to this episode. Karthik, I'm being mindful of your time, and I'm just curious to ask you a couple more questions.
Yeah, sure.
How does your morning routine look like? They say that successful people wake up really early in the morning, and I'm a big fan of Robin Sharma and his 5 a.m. club. But I read his book about 3-4 years back, and ever since I've been waking up at 5 a.m. on mostly majority of the days. So, what's your routine look like?
Yeah, so maybe I get up around that time, so I say around 5:30 or so. But then I'm in terms of my morning routine, I really feel I still have a long way to go to further improve, because I would like to start my day still early. Again, I'm on my way to still working on that. But in terms of routine, So I think it's my day starts with my own set of practices that I follow with respect to yoga, and that really helps me. That it does really help me one grow as a person, as a professional in my life. So that's something I consistently follow. And yeah, so apart that's a significant part of my morning routine. After that, it's going to be about, as usual, get to work after that. So yeah, that's in brief.
All right. Let's make this conversation a little interesting. I have something called as a quick fire round. For this,
Okay.
you need to answer in one word or one sentence. And if there is something to explain, you can go ahead, of course.
Yeah.
Let's start with our first question. If you have to go back in time and spend one day with the greatest leader the world has ever produced, who would that leader be?
I would say Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
Okay, great. What is the best advice you have ever received in your life?
Best advice. There were so many people who have said very helpful things to me, but if I had to pick one, it's about. So there's a quote which I have in front of me that really has played a very significant part. So I'll share that with you.
Mhm.
It's about there's a magnet in your heart that will attract true friends,
Mm,
and that magnet is unselfishness. So thinking of others first.
thinking about that.
So this has been a very significant, I would say a very, very close to heart quote.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's very profound. Thanks for sharing that. So, what is the worst advice you have ever received?
I just don't remember whatever, first of all, as worst advice, but I really don't remember such kind of, to qualify something like that.
Okay, fair enough. What most people value and you don't?
Most people value and I don't. It would be about speaking more.
Mhm.
Listening more. Yeah, that's something, a feedback I get from my wife. So I think you should speak a lot more. Yeah, so that's something which I think I should also value more.
Okay. If you have to create one law that everyone in the universe has to follow, what is that law and how does it look like?
Oh, one law that everybody
Everyone
has
has
to
to follow.
follow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very interesting. Yeah. So the law is observe the nature around you and start and practice what you see.
Very profound.
Yeah. I think if
Yeah,
we can do that, I think it'll really bring a lot more alignment in our life.
right. Yeah, we miss out on small little things that are around us. My mentor told me that you must watch sunrise every morning and you must watch sunset every evening. And when you're going for a walk, if there is a small little plant that you can learn so much from, and if there is a small little insect that you can learn so much from, so just observe and pay attention to things, and you can make your life very beautiful. Karthik,
Yeah.
Karthik, one last thing that you want to share to our listeners and viewers.
Okay. So I think one thing which I really want to share with all of us, the listeners, is I think each of us want to live our life in our own way, right? There's a way that we want to live our life. So towards that, all of us have been blessed with the Creator, with many abilities, with many say this mind, which is really so powerful. So my request to all of you listeners is to, if you could take one step every day to understand more about your mind, right? You're helping yourself move towards the kind of life that you want to live for yourself. So, and in the process, you're not only helping yourself, but also helping so many others around you.
Right. Very profound. Karthik, I cannot thank you enough for doing this. And I am really grateful for your time. And I want to give a shout out to you because you are really making a huge difference in our world. And in your whole conversation today, passionately spoke about just being there for one other person and helping the other person. We need more people like you, and we need more coaches like you in the world. Keep up your good work. And I'm really grateful that our paths crossed and we were able to have this conversation. And listeners and viewers, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your patient listening. I wish you all the very best. Karthik, thank you so much for your time, and wish you all the best as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Satish. Really appreciate the initiative, which I think this podcast is taking many useful things to more people. So I really wish you great success in this initiative too.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.